So how are the big players in the oil and gas industry approaching the energy transition? Jan Toschka is Shell's general manager for Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, and he is going to share the company's plans for e-mobility. Hello. Jan, can you hear me? Jan, are you there?
I'm here, hello.
Hello, hi.
There's a bit of an echo, is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay. Also, we are live, and if you are ready for your keynote, we are ready for you.
Thank you so much. I was wondering whether someone introduces myself. So, ladies and gentlemen, and dear representatives of the media, thank you so much for having me. My name is Jan Toschka, and I have been the director of Shell's mobility business in DACH. So DACH stands for Germany, Austria, Switzerland. Maybe one word on the business there. It's a business of, say, 2,500 retail sites, so gas stations, pump stations, on which some 25,000 staff is working, serving 1 million, up to 1.5 million customers every single day. Predominantly, we're selling fuel in these days, but we're also selling convenience products, food, beverages, car wash, coffee, all of that. Now, I have used the phrase, I have been the director, and that's correct. I am moving on these days. I will be heading a global business of Shell. Exciting times ahead for me, for myself. But equally exciting, let's be very clear, equally exciting have been the last 3 years in my role. It was all about energy transition. It was all about paving the way into the future, how we as the company are committed to the Paris Climate Agreement, number one, and also recently we have announced to become a net zero emission, let me say this again, net zero emission company by 2050 or earlier. Now, how do we do that? And I'll come to electric vehicles and mobility in a minute. How do we do that? In general, we have our own processes, our own energy consumption. We will become cleaner. We will take CO2 out of those. So that's predominantly scope 1 and scope 2. But also we have said that we will be offering a more sustainable solution, a more sustainable offer to every single of our customers. So we will be helping our customers to give them the choice to reduce their own CO2 footprint. And as I just said, I mean, I could be talking about shipping or aviation or industry or road transport, but today I'd like to zoom into the mobility side of things. So that's basically our B2C offer, what we're offering to our private customers. You see the agenda. I hope the technology works. It seems to work fine. This is really good. The agenda here, three points mainly. Let me start with a more like a personal observation. As I just said, creating more sustainable offers is absolutely crucial. I mean, without such offers, there won't be any energy transition. That's clear. At the same time, however, it's also important that customers actually choose these offers. Customers need to proactively differentiate between the offers, between the suppliers, and they need to make an own decision saying, I want to have a positive impact on my own CO2 footprint. Not only that will have immediately less CO2 emissions, that's the one obvious thing, but also it will trigger more innovation, it will trigger more competition, it will trigger more offers, more sustainable offers, because the whole industry is moving. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming anyone for hesitating or for waiting or for observing what's going on in the environment. But I'm saying it is more of a task for the industry, a task for all of us to explain the offers, to make them super customer-friendly, user-friendly, super convenient, so that customers actually like to do this, like to become part of this. Yeah? And it has to be also affordable. That's a crucial element, obviously. So that's more like a personal reflection to start with. And now I am confronted with animated slides. As you can see, if I look down here to the bottom, then it's me using my internet clicker. I will give you all the numbers so that you can see on the slide where we are. Let's start with some numbers. So electric vehicles, electric mobility I'm talking about in German market. That's my topic for today. We have seen over the last 6 months, and that is a big number. That's a seriously big number. I don't think many people have expected this. We have seen some 40, almost 40% of the newly registered cars no longer having a traditional benzene or diesel, gasoline, gas oil engine the way we used to see them over the last decades. Almost 40% are now having some sort of either electric or hydrogen, hybrid plug-in or mild hybrid engine. That's a really, really big number. And as you can see there on the slides, the growth rates have almost been 200%. Now, strictly speaking, that number you don't find on the slide. Over the last 6-7 months, the first 6-7 months of this year, we have seen almost 10% of the newly registered cars in this country having a pure battery engine, and some 14%, having a plug-in hybrid and hydrogen as well. But 14 plus 10, that makes it 24%, 25. That's almost 1 in 4 cars now being electric. Now, let's have a look on the right-hand side. The expectation from society, from the governments, from a couple of think tanks is that by 2030, some 7 to 10 million cars in this country, in the German market, will be electric vehicles. If you do the math, currently we have 20-25% newly registered cars being electric. In 8 years from now, we hope to have 20% of the fleet. So the German market is roughly 47 million cars. So if it's 7 to 10 million, that's 20% of that fleet. If you do the math, we might get there. At least we get very close. You know, the age of the fleet is roughly 10 years on average, so we might get really, really close to this figure. Now, what is needed in order to keep all these customers happy and to keep the mobility up and running is obviously a charging infrastructure. And this is where we come in. This is where we as Shell are very clearly committed to help customers on this journey by providing super convenient, super fast, super reliable charging. Now, the government says we expect to have 1 million charge posts in the country. It's a quite sobering number. I think today we're looking at 50,000. So it is. I think it's fair to say it's a long way to go. I think that's what you can conclude. But I will show you how we as Shell will try to close that gap and add to this kind of progress and becoming more an electric mobility country. Now, basically, I'm explaining over the next couple of minutes, I'm explaining our offer. It consists of our offers, what we do on publicly accessible places, so like retail sites, car parks, and those places. I will also quickly talk about what we offer for private rounds, so for households on their driveways. I will talk about a couple of recent acquisitions, definitely showing the commitment, and that all of this then goes into how we see the overall ecosystem of mobility solutions and what we as Shell in our transformation journey, what we are adding to those. Now, let's start another animated slide. Forgive me if I do this in the beginning. I think it's fair to say, and I would be not telling you the truth, that if I wouldn't be offering that in the last 2 or 3 years, we started with collaboration. We started with partnerships. We admitted that in terms of electric mobility, we are totally committed and we will be doing a lot, but let's learn from each other. Let's find good partners and gain momentum and gain speed with them. And that's what we've done. 4 years back, we started to collaborate with Ionity. That is the joint venture of the car manufacturers, of a number of car manufacturers. And these guys are building super fast chargers, predominantly on highways and main roads. And we are now having on 80 of our retail sites, we are having Ionity chargers. And we learn from each other. We learn how the market perceives those, receives those, how much customers come, how many of them are using them, what is the feedback. So that is a couple of years ago, that was the first part of collaboration, Shell and other players in the industry. And then in 2018 and 19, we started to collaborate with EnBW, that is Energie Baden-Württemberg. And with them, we have built 50 super fast chargers on our own retail sites. Now, I'm not talking about highways, I'm talking about city sites everywhere where we have enough demand, where we have enough traffic, where we believe the first 50 sites are a good place there. We are talking about 300 kilowatt hours installed capacity, so that's basically one charge post with 2 cables coming out of those. 150 kilowatt installed capacity each cable. That gets you in a position to charge your car or to recharge your car within minutes for, let's say, 100 kilometers distance. Yeah, very convenient, very fast. We call it our on-the-go offer. Now, after that first 1 or 2 years of learning from each other, working together, gaining speed and momentum, we then obviously said, let's do our own investments. Let's take that learning and let's scale it up. Let's do something. As I said earlier, we have 2,500 retail sites in the 3 countries in DACH. Now, in July 2020, we built our very first own fast charger in Hamburg, I think it was. It's 100% supplied with green electricity. And again, it has 2 cables, of which each provides you 150 kilowatt installed capacity. Same thing, couple of minutes, you can charge your car up to whatever, 100 kilometers, 200 kilometers. The intention really is to offer a very, very convenient solution. It has to be fast, it has to be easily accessible, and it has to work flawlessly. And that's what we started in July 2020. And you see them there in the middle. Now you see it in the middle. This is our pathway. This is what we're doing over the next, well, this year, next year, but then also until the end of the decade. We are having, by the end of this year, we are aiming to have 110 locations. So I'm still talking about retail sites, Shell retail sites. And that gives us 240, that order of magnitude, charging cables, so charging posts. Until the end of this decade, we are aiming to have roughly 3,000 or more locations where we have a few thousand of these chargers. So that's in another 8 years, we will be having a few thousand of those, predominantly on our own retail sites. But you also see, I'm talking about destination chargers there at the bottom. So instead of only focusing on our retail sites, we also acknowledge that customers, they go to places regularly, like supermarkets, shopping malls, cinemas, restaurants, do-it-yourself stores. Those places we call destinations. And we will also build up a lot of charging infrastructure on those destinations. I think we say here, we expect at least the same amount what we put on our own retail sites, the same amount of charging infrastructure, chargers we will be putting at those destinations. That in totality doesn't get us to the current gap of between 50,000 installed chargers today up to 1 million by 2030, but it gives a few thousand super fast chargers where customers can come and charge their car within minutes for the next say 100 kilometers, 200 kilometers. Very, very convenient. Talking about convenient, using those chargers, we have, I'll come to this later, we'll have acquired a company called NewMotion, and that company operates the Shell Recharge app. So all of these chargers are today already accessible and usable with the Shell Recharge app. And then obviously there's a roaming agreement in place. You have access with that app, with the Shell Recharge app, you have access to roughly 200,000 charging points. And that is only today. In future, this will be a much, much bigger figure. I'll come to this later. So I think this underpins nicely, not only the commitment in terms of money, in terms of effort, in terms of hardware, but also the user friendliness, what I said earlier, using one app, using one, maybe even the plastic card will work as well, yeah, for those who don't want to operate with an app. That in combination gives us great convenience for our electric mobility customers. Now, I was talking about fast charging predominantly, whether it's on retail sites or on destinations. But we know pretty well what the typical demand pattern of our customers are. So on average, a customer uses his or her car, say 10,000 kilometers per year. That makes it close to 1,000 kilometers per month. You will find out that many, many customers would not need fast charging or even super fast charging. They would be very happy to have once or twice a week, maybe a couple of hours, what we call fast enough charging process. And I'd like to talk about the Ubitricity company, one of our more recent acquisitions. We bought Ubitricity. It's a startup company based in Berlin, and it's such a simple, such a brilliant offer what Ubitricity has put together. They've invented, what you can see on the slide, they have invented how you charge your car using street lanterns. Why is that brilliant? Because the electricity grid is already there. The cable is already connected to the street lantern. No more digging up of sidewalks, no more road work. It'll take less than an hour. I've been told 50 minutes it takes to connect or to plug in the device Ubitricity has developed into the street lantern. And once the plug is in there, the customer comes, I put in my car charger, and the car charger corresponds with a plug in the street lantern. I'll get charged if I'm set up with my user profile. And that is the most easiest way. I mean, we will have thousands of those. Currently, we have them up and running in London, and we're in talks with a couple of cities in Germany using those plug systems into street lanterns. That would, as I said earlier, no more road work required, no digging up of sidewalks and stuff. That would allow us to come up with thousands, literally, I mean it, thousands of charging posts in a very, very short time. So that's a great mixture of acquisition on the one hand, but also innovation and being very smart about what the future, what the ecosystem of electric mobility needs. Another example, as I said, is everything is happening on the home side. So far I was talking about fast charging, super fast charging, I was talking about Ubitricity. All that is available for everyone because it's accessible on public ground. But also we bought the company NewMotion, I think that goes back 2017, 18. And NewMotion is, apart from operating the Shell Recharge app, NewMotion is also developing wall boxes and solutions for home use. So this is now your own driveway, or it might be a B2B customer having a small fleet of a couple of cars, and those cars will be charged at the B2B place here, where the office is or where the company is located. Now, on top of the wall box itself, quite importantly, it's a very smart charging solution. So the box is not just taking electricity and put it into the car. The box also measures how much electricity is there, what's the price of the electricity, the best time of either the day or the night, how much is the car needing. All of this is a smart solution, and we see this growing. The company has started business in the Netherlands, now coming more and more to the German market, and that is indeed our offer for the private place, the driveways. Now, a very recent acquisition, again, we're talking about private homes. A very recent acquisition is the company Sonnen. Sonnen is based in the south of Germany, and they are developing solar panels and battery storage solutions. So you need to imagine the following. You have your house, and you have the solar panels, the photovoltaic installed on the house, and you have your own charging storage infrastructure, their own batteries at home. That would make you, if there is enough sunshine, that would make you independent of the public grid. But on top of this, Sonnen operates a virtual network amongst all those Sonnen customers, and they exchange electricity amongst themselves. So the one who is in demand of a bit more electricity, for instance, using either more at home or wanted to charge the car, that person then gets the electricity from another Sonnen customer who is currently not in such high demand of the own self-produced electricity. That gives you this virtual network and the highest degree of independency, not only to mention that this is 100% green, this is 100% sustainable, also it is very nice to know that you're very much independent of the grid. In addition to what I said, the solar panels and the storage, you also have now from Sonnen offered the car chargers. So in a way similar to what NewMotion is offering, they charge the cars you can use at home. And very recently, Sonnen also developed an own car offer. So there is a car you can lease from the Sonnen company, which basically is kind of rounding up the offer, producing, storing, exchanging with other customers, charging your car, and even having the car from the company Sonnen. That's the first kind of element of mobility solutions I wanted to talk about. Now, from there, we liked this so much, and we realized, what I said earlier, customers, they need to choose the right offers. Sometimes the entry barriers are rather high. So we thought, why don't we offer a Shell electric vehicle car? People haven't expected this, but we're doing it anyhow together with our partner Fleet Pool. So we are offering various cars for 3, 6, 9, 12-month leasing and longer, if you like, leasing periods. And the intention really is to lower the entry barriers to the lowest possible kind of feeling for customers so that they can overcome that and become part of the electric vehicle community. Now, it goes without saying that that comes with several advantages of being a Shell customer. So if you have your Shell car, then obviously you also have the Shell Recharge app. You get different offers there. We can combine, because you're then the Shell customer, we can combine what we offer also in terms of electricity at home. We do 100% green electricity. We have different offers on the retail sides. So just to think of something, we can offer this with car wash offers or with other convenience products. Yeah. So we truly believe that the trick is not only to look at one element, say fast charging or fast enough charging or solar panels. We do believe that if we do create integrated B2C solutions for private households, covering electricity needs, covering energy needs, covering mobility needs, making it user-friendly, that really will help customers to say, yes, I'll choose those offers. I will help society. I'll help myself to lower my personal CO2 footprint. That is more like a summary slide here, what you see now. It basically combines what I was talking about. It gives you an overview of our charging infrastructure between 2017 up to 2030. And I said earlier, we are having with the Shell Recharge app some 200,000 access points today. That number will become 500,000 by the end of the decade. You'll see a number of offers we are developing till then, in particular our own fast charging infrastructure we will be rolling out till then. And you see those solutions, the mobility solutions, you see the Sonnendrive as well as the Shell Recharge Auto app we are offering. So in totality, what we believe that makes us for our customers, and that is crucial in these days that we understand this better. From a customer's, another animated slide, from our customer's point of view, we will be offering countrywide, super reliable charging infrastructure, easily accessible on public places like retail sites, car parks, supermarkets, those places, but also on your personal driveways, at your home. We will be combining those offers with, for instance, electricity demand you have at home. Using Sonnen offer, you can produce your electricity yourself. You'll become more independent. And by doing so, we believe we offer lowest possible barriers to say yes and become part of the electric mobility, electric vehicle community. And on top of that, it also will help us on our journey to become a net zero emission company by 2050. And with that, I'll stop here, and that was my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was Jan Toschka from Shell.